headlines. Nigerian troops neutralized 49 terrorists in 6 weeks of military operations in Borno. Youth march in Lagos for Tinubu Sanwo-Olu ahead of the 2023 elections. Peter Obi visits Governor Diri over Bayelsa floods. And on the foreign scene, South Korean officials face arrest over 2020 killing by North Korea. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. The Nigerian army says it has neutralized 49 terrorists, while 2 civilian JTF and 9 soldiers lost their lives in 6 weeks of military operations against terrorists in Borno State. It also revealed that the number of surrendered terrorists rose to 81,131 combatant and non-combatant fighters. The theatre commander of Operation Hatlinkai, Christopher Musa, disclosed that 2 Chibok girls with twin babies were rescued by troops of 7th Division during its operation in Bama local government. Major General Christopher Musa said despite the challenges in the dry season, the army will ensure it sustains a counter-offensive against the terrorists. He stressed that the army will not deter in its mandate to restore peace and normalcy in the northeast.
Just like we did during the rainy season, before now, during rainy seasons, our operations normally go down. But this time around, if you observe, during the rainy season, we maintain the tempo, continuing. And then towards now, we're going to continue. We're entering the dry season, the Harmattan season. That also we are prepared. We are taking adequate measures to ensure that we deny them ability. Most of their movements now, if you notice, is they are looking for food and acts of criminality. They try to rob individuals to get money, to get food when they go to attacks, and that's what they are doing. So we are curtailing those things together with all the other security agencies.
On the 29th of September, Yana Pogo and her 4 children, 2 boys and 2 twin girls, were rescued at Mirari village in Bama local government area by troops of 21 Special Armored Brigade Bama during a clearance patrol in the general area. If you check the list of Chibok girls, she is on serial 19. In the same vein, on the 2nd of October 2022, Rejoice Sankey with her 2 children were rescued by troops of 222 Battalion in Kauri local government area. She is on serial 70 on the adopted Chibok girls list.
Meanwhile, the police in Zamfara State have rescued 10 women and a 1-year-old child after a search and rescue operation at Gando Forest in Ukuyum local government area of the state. A statement by the command's public relations officer, Muhammad Shehu, explained that the victims were abducted on Monday, 17th October, after terrorists invaded Manye village in Anka local government area. It said the victims spent 3 days in captivity before the police rescued them. It also said that all rescued victims were taken to the hospital for medical check, debriefed by the police detectives and handed over to their families. Armed men suspected to be bandits on Friday attacked Maijaki village in Birnum Maza Tashiba ward of Lapai local government area of Niger State, abducting 13 persons and shooting 1. A community source said tension in the community is still high following the attack and called for security presence to forestall calm and stability in the area. It was gathered that the criminals are currently occupying Pashami Forest, where they hide to perpetrate their evil act. Reports revealed that over 500 security operatives of Operation Sharandaji, including vigilantes, have stormed the area for a manhunt to apprehend the criminals. The United States Police Command is yet to confirm the incident. And to politics now, where youth in Lagos State on Saturday staged a peaceful rally to show support for the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate, Bola Tinubu, and the party's governorship candidate in the state, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, ahead of the 2023 elections. The youth were seen with various APC paraphernalia, including brooms and flags, as they marched from Maryland on Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way to Police College via Ikeja, the state capital. The rally, organized by Tinubu's son, Sheyi, is tagged Eco Youth Walk for Tinubu Shetima Sanwo-Olu Hamzat. The march saw a huge presence of scores of officers from the Nigeria Police Force, the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. LASMA, in an advisory on Friday, announced the temporary closure of some roads in the state capital and adjoining areas to traffic on Saturday due to the march. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party on Friday says it is ready for its presidential campaign rally in Benin City, Edo State, scheduled for Saturday. PDP spokesman Debo Ologunagba said the state, which is home to the party, was excited about the rally and is sure of victory in the coming polls. Ologunagba also noted that ahead of the rally, the party has been receiving a flurry of solidarity messages from various groups, especially the youth, in their massive solidarity towards the PDP's mission to rescue, rebuild and redirect the nation from what he called the misrule of the All Progressives Congress. The PDP accused the APC of resorting to violence during its rally in Kaduna, adding that the APC is hurting over the decampment of more than 1 million of its members to the PDP in Kaduna State in the last couple of months. Now, money is a major requirement in the execution of a successful political campaign. But there's always a big question mark on how these funds are sourced and what the intentions are for providing them. Chamun Dabeng interrogates the implications of money politics in Nigeria and how campaign funding impacts on the electoral process. The report.
The Electoral Act 2022 has clauses which are supposed to ensure that every party enjoys a level playing field during the campaigns. Section 88, subsection 8 of the Electoral Act provides that no individual or other entity shall donate more than 50 million naira to a candidate, while Section 90, subsection 3 prohibits a political party from accepting monetary or other contributions, which is more than 50 million naira, unless it can identify the source of the money to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. But many political observers believe that the Independent National Electoral Commission is merely paying lip service to the clause, placing a cap on campaign funding.
Here, we do not have that contributory sense of pooling resources through the support base. Most of the time what we have individuals spending in their own money and their cronies. So what we have very fine letters in the law books, making all sort of restrictions and prescription as to source of funding and how much you should spend. We have what I would always call that supermarket mentality. We write about anything and we outlaw everything.
There are many that believe that the party primaries which produced candidates for the 2023 elections were marred by vote buying. If the same impunity plays out during the process of campaigns, especially as it pertains to funding, many believe that those that donated these funds could exercise undue influence on those elected.
For us to get the kind of democracy that we want, we would have to pay for it. What do I mean by paying for the kind of democracy that we want? It means that if we've seen a candidate that we like, if we like the things that he's saying, if we agree with his policies, his position, and where he wants to take the country to, then we should be prepared to fund his campaign. Because any time a candidate puts his hands in his pocket and pay for a campaign process, you should expect that when he gets into office, he's going to fund or replace all of those monies that he spent during campaign back to his pockets. But the only problem now is that he's going to do that at an interest rate that only he can determine.
According to both Kagbo and Buhari, the only way to stop the influence of money as a deciding factor in electoral processes is to fix the ailing economy that has caused financial distress to many Nigerians. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi on Saturday visited Governor Duye Diri of Bayelsa State in Yenagoa, the state capital, to sympathize with victims of floods in the state. The former governor of Anambra State, who earlier on Thursday visited flood-ravaged communities in Benue State to commiserate with victims, tasked the federal government to be proactive in mitigating the effects of the devastating floods across the country. Obi also called on his counterparts in other parties to suspend their campaigns and join him to help victims of floods across the states of the federation. Floods have hit part of Nigeria in the last 2 months, with the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA saying that about 2.5 million persons were affected and over 603 persons killed by flooding that followed torrential rainfall of late. Meanwhile, Britain's King Charles III has written to President Muhammadu Buhari expressing his sympathy over the recent flooding in Nigeria. King Charles said he is deeply saddened to hear of the many people that have lost their loved ones as a consequence of the devastating floods across the country. While reiterating the UK's support to Nigeria, the King said his thoughts are with those working to support the recovery efforts. Over 600 persons have died in the recent flooding in Nigeria, which also forced more than 1.3 million people from their homes. Stay with us on Trust TV News Update. Still ahead, we'll bring you the benefits of decorative herbal plants. This and more after the break. Stay with us.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now let's recap our top stories. Nigerian troops neutralized 49 terrorists in 6 weeks of military operations in Borno. And youth march in Lagos for Tinubu Sanwo-Olu ahead of the 2023 elections. And moving on to other news now. The Kwara State government has reiterated its readiness to encourage and support young entrepreneurs to become big players in the state's economy. Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak gave the assurance at a gathering of young entrepreneurs in Ilorin, the state capital. The report.
Young entrepreneurs across the country are gathered in this hall for membership by those who have surmounted the initial challenges of starting and sustaining a business. They advise them not to be deterred by such challenges.
Anybody who has the foresight to look inwards towards building a conducive environment where entrepreneurship can grow, that person is even doing more than the government.
The convener of the event, Ahmed Lawal, says the essence is to make the beneficiaries replicate the strategies for sustaining businesses in their individual ventures in the nearest future.
Like I was saying, it's not possible for any of us seated here today to be able to fully conceptualize how important, how great this network can be. You know, I say can be rather than saying is, because we still have a lot of work to do to make it blossom, to make the potentials achieved.
The picture out there is that Youths are only into Yahoo. Youths are into criminality and vices. Youths are into drugs. But seeing so many youths here, I think I'm convinced.
Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, who is represented at the event, promised to continue to support young entrepreneurs in the state as a way of encouraging self-reliance.
But I'm giving you the message of the government here that as entrepreneurs, we are ready to support any good idea, creativity, business, innovation you are bringing up.
Events such as this are expected to give hope to young business owners amid the poor economic climate.
Now, horticulture can help contribute to building sustainable livelihoods, improve incomes by providing urban populations with crops such as fruits and vegetables for consumption, and also plants for ornamental purposes, while contributing massively to landscaping. The flower and decorative plants industry is experiencing a gradual boost, especially in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja, where cultivators, event planners, and flower shop owners are harnessing financial and health benefits. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu reports.
Maintaining a balance within the ecosystem ensures proportionality of existence for every organism in the environment. This applies to the sustainable production, maintenance, marketing and cultivating of plants in gardens to produce food and medicinal ingredients or for comfort and ornamental purposes. But Timothy E.J., who has been in this line of work for over a decade, says sourcing, nursing and cultivating these plants is labor and capital intensive. This is because of vast variety of plants and flowers and the different purposes for which they are used.
Me that is doing this business, we know the people that I import them from abroad normally buy it from them. So when they bring it, they were like this. I think one is around 4,000, 5,000, depending on the dollars. So I buy it 5,000 each. So I come and transplant it. When I plant it, plant is all about the sizes. Once it grows, the price increases. We have some plants are herbs. Some are just for decoration. We have a golden palm. We have a tuja, which is called Christmas tree. We have a anglomania. These are indoor. Those that buy flower, those are the people that build houses, estate and the individual that have houses. So they come to buy, patronize us. When they come, they are the ones that even appreciate us.
He acknowledges the health benefits associated with plants and the profitability of the business.
Although it's for decoration, but it's the main purpose. When you have plants around your house, you are having a healthy environment. Sometimes they rent and they return it. And some of them buy and keep it by themselves to maintain it.
The horticultural business in the FCT is highly lucrative, hence an untapped gold mine capable of creating employment opportunities to many while beautifying, purifying the environment, removing toxic air pollutants, and replacing them with pristine oxygen for humans and animals to thrive. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Still watching Trust TV News Update. News continues shortly. Do stay with us.
That's great. It's good to see you.
Welcome back to Trust TV News Update. Now we'll take a look at the foreign scene, where arrest warrants have been issued for South Korea's former defense minister and Coast Guard chief over their alleged involvement in a cover-up related to North Korea's killing of a South Korean fisheries official in 2020. The Seoul Central District Court issued the warrants on Saturday for former Defense Minister Soo Wook and former Coast Guard Commissioner General Kim Hong-hee, citing risks of the suspects fleeing or destroying evidence. The South Korean Coast Guard and Navy were also found to have violated rules during their initial rescue efforts by failing to seek help from other vessels and authorities near Lee's location. And former Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Saturday returned to Britain from a holiday to launch an audacious political comeback as Conservative leadership rival Rishi Sunak reached the minimum threshold to contest the UK's top job. Johnson cut short a Caribbean trip to join the race to replace outgoing leader Liz Truss, with allies telling the British media he was up for it. The divisive 58-year-old Brexit architect only handed over power in early September, 2 months after announcing his resignation following a Tory revolt over a slew of scandals. His apparent bid to return to office just weeks later has already been decried by opposition politicians and even some in his own fractured ruling party, who argued that both it and the country needs stability and unity. The Tories were forced into a second, this time expedited leadership contest since the summer after Truss dramatically announced Thursday she would stand down just 44 tempestuous days into her tenure. Now for a look at sports, where Nigeria will play joint hosts Australia, Canada and the Republic of Ireland in Group B of the 9th FIFA Women's World Cup finals taking place in the summer of 2023. This follows the draw ceremony held in Auckland on Saturday. Nigeria will therefore play Canada in her first match of the competition, to be staged in a total of 9 cities, 5 in Australia and 4 in New Zealand. The competition will host 32 teams, the biggest in the history of the FIFA Women's World Cup since it began in China in 1991. Joint hosts New Zealand will battle Norway, Philippines and Switzerland in Group A. And a look at boxing, where Dillian Whyte will face Jermaine Franklin on the 26th of November in his first fight since losing to WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury earlier this year. The fight will take place at Wembley Arena next to the stadium where Whyte's title bid ended with a 6-round stoppage to fellow Briton Fury. Whyte, who has won 28 of his 31 professional fights, says it was great to be back doing what he loves doing. 29-year-old American Franklin is unbeaten since turning professional in 2015. Franklin has a 21-0 record with 14 knockouts, but has not beaten any marquee names. And with that, we wrap up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe to watch us live on YouTube and, of course, follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.